Peace, family. So I'm back with another one. Today what I want to do is I wanted to talk to my chosen ones about the enemy / opposition never gets away with it. They never get away with it. They always think and assume that they've gotten away with it, but they never get away with it. And to me, it's like, I smile now because it's like, it gives me joy in the inside, just always knowing that justice is always served, you know what I'm saying, one way or another, whether it's your vessel being used to serve the justice or whether it's the universe using situations and circumstances to serve the justice, you know what I'm saying. So I've been in this space where I was trying to let go of some witchy ass shit that had been going on, that had happened a little bit ago, but I had got reminded of it, right? And I don't want to dive into all the details and all that shit now, but as far as like, ever since the witchy shit start happening behind the scenes, because that's what they like to do, right? A lot of beings work shit in the spiritual realm, and if you don't have any physical proof or evidence, then they feel that they are still allowed to manipulate your energy or the situation, you know what I'm saying. But the fruits of what's going on always show, and each team has its own reward system, so you're gonna get rewarded. If you riding with the greater good, you already know how the rewards feel when you get them. When you riding with them demons in that opposition, you already know what you're gonna get. Whatever you want, you're gonna get it fast, but it's gonna be a whole bunch of shit that comes on the back end, you know what I'm saying. So I was just diving in as far as just trying to figure out how to get this fuck energy off me. That's all I really know how to call it, because it's like I'm already over the situation physically, but spiritually, because the fucking opposition keeps bringing the shit back up. It's like it wants me to deal with the spiritual battle. I have to deal with it. So I started thinking back and time traveling back to when me and my associate used to build, you know what I'm saying. We built for like over 10 years, you know what I'm saying. It was okay, but my daughter is older than his. We both went to court at the same time for custodies for ours. I was taking my BM to court for custody, and then he was going to court for full custody because his BM had moved out of state or whatever. But when his solar return came around and all the witchy shit had started, I realized this was the demonic team, because he was working with the damn witch that was around me at the time. So this is when you start getting you start reaping the benefits. When you're opposition, you start reaping them right away. You get the benefits right away. Kind of like when you sign a deal, they give you the bonus right away. You don't have to wait till your records is sold for the money to come in. You know what I'm saying? You sign here, boom, here's 10,000, here's 200,000, however much they want to put down on the bonus. You know what I'm saying? Shit was flowing smooth for him. He ended up getting a little space, you know what I'm saying. I took my daughter bed over there. He had a whole room, gave him the bed, some extra stuff that I had from the mini, you know what I'm saying, just so his little man can get right and shit. Did a lot of shit. Shit was flowing. More witchy shit started happening, and it started sprinkling around. So then once I stopped dealing in that situation, you know, he ended up getting locked up. So with lockup, and if you have custody, you lose custody. So CPS gets involved. So now you lose custody of all this shit, and now it's still sprinkles of energy of the other shit coming back down. So it's like, even when they try to do you dirty, especially when you riding with the team that we ride and how we help and heal beings out here, you know, we only harming the motherfuckers that's asking for it and that's causing harm. We don't go out intentionally harming people, but none of the beings that I know that's riding with this team, you know what I'm saying, that's on the warrior side, is weak beings, you know what I'm saying? And ain't none of us no suckers, so don't try us like we are, you know what I'm saying? We let things slide because we are a little bit stronger to bear the process from within. But we are still spiritual beings having a human experience. So you already know it's a button that you're going to push eventually if it keeps happening spiritually. And we're going to have to deal with the situation. You know what I'm saying? So when we was in the same energy, he was reaping. It was going good. It was flowing. His spaces, his other shit that he had going on the side, you know what I'm saying, whether he was wanted to hit some licks or some shit, you know, shit was flowing. Soon as my shit get removed, everything starts doing the complete opposite. And when you are in this space enough times, you have no choice but to look at the facts. Look at the role that you played yourself, and then look at the role the other being played themselves. So I look at myself in that being, and then I can compare myself to all my other situations that I've been in where somebody was doing really good and lifting themselves, and then all of a sudden my energy was removed and it started going the opposite way. And that's not with everybody. And that's what I mean. It's only with the fucking demonic team and these motherfuckers with these ill intentions. Because you could be around people and they are riding with the good team, you know what I'm saying? The natural flow of things. And y'all energies may not just be meshing at that particular time in y'all journeys. Y'all are on different frequencies, but y'all still riding with the same team. You know what I'm saying? That is completely different than this shit they got going on over here. You know what I'm saying? So I don't never like to get that confused, but for the most part, like a lot of us in our vicinities, we are the light post of the town. You know what I'm saying? There are no lights. We are the light. You know what I'm saying? So for us to engage the way we want to perceive it when we communicate outwardly as if we're around a bunch of other motherfuckers that's on our team in physical time, you know what I'm saying? We have to do it spiritually, and we know that it's digitally happening on a bigger base than it is physically right now, because I know everybody isn't traveling. They made it extremely difficult for that to happen, but it is doable, you know what I'm saying? So I don't like to say impossible is impossible, but justice is always served, you know what I'm saying? And that's the same witchy motherfucker who I was dealing with. He was, you know, like, some people don't be as deep in on the witchy side, even though they've grown up in and been involved. And then when the light come around, it's almost like it's juicing and charging, but it's also keeping them at a better space spiritually, so they're not diving backwards as much or back into the unhealthy space. It's that other opposition starts pulling them back over there, because it has to pull, because we're here now. When we're not there, it doesn't have to pull. It can just hang out, because it's a lot easier to just hang out. It doesn't have another fighting source over there, you know, whether we're doing it intentionally or unintentionally. You know what I'm saying? So it's that's how it works. This motherfucker lost custody, and he got with the same person I was last dealing with, and that person ended up getting cervical cancer. And this shit, you know what I'm saying? Got that shit and all this shit, you know what I'm saying? So it makes sense for them to be meeting and doing this, and for justice to be served on this team, and for this team to feel like they are living the life. See, when you hear the information and we use the term narcissist, you know what I'm saying? I just like to use demons. I don't really give a fuck about narcissists, because before narcissist, it was other words they were using. That's just a new word that's flowing right now, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like swag, like how we constantly are changing, adding words to the vocabulary. Culturally, it's what we do, you know what I'm saying? The cultures are given to us, and then we expand from them. But just understanding these things, man, is huge, because it's tough sometimes when you got witchy motherfuckers at your job, or you got witchy ass family members that you have to deal with, and they've been doing witchy shit to you for so long in the spiritual realm that it's never no physical proof. So it's always like you feel as if you're gonna go to the extreme if you do something in the physical realm. You know what I'm saying? Because there isn't enough proof. And then society isn't really riding with the way we flow from within outwardly. Is more so of yeah, just let it slide. Oh, yeah, just let it slide. Yeah, you ain't no man. Or yeah, you supposed to like the years of society is not the years of how we flow. So that's why it's always so much friction in between there, you know. And that's why we don't initiate a harder defense when it first starts happening and initiating, and when it first starting off. So I know for me, like, a lot of times I like to give people chances and opportunities, you know. So I could bump into somebody and see all the way into them in their depths, and then still give them an opportunity, you know, whether it's to just engage with me or to communicate, or, you know, whether it's to do anything around those fields. It depends on what frequency it's on, because if it's on something more higher up here, then I'll have to build with you more to really see what team you on to hit that frequency with you. You know what I'm saying? But the way that this is set up, it's set up for us to just keep getting our ass whooped and just keep taking it. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about spiritually, not physically, because a lot of us is not just gonna let nobody put their hands on us. That's not how this is set up. I promise you. So they like spiritual ass whoopings and attacks, and then it's always we're in this space of where we're pondering on if we are supposed to just let it go. You know, they didn't do anything physical to you. You can manage it, just let it go. But then you have these days where it's done been 2-3 days past the situation, or a week or two past the situation, and the shit keeps crossing your spirit realm. So when it keeps crossing your spiritual realm, it's like, the way I feel like when it does that, it's drawing attention to it. It's drawing attention to it for a reason, and then you have to figure out, why is it drawing attention to it? Is it drawing attention to it because you have to do something physically, or is it drawing attention because the way your circumstance and situation was set up, you're supposed to be letting go, but you're holding on longer? So you have to figure out, per se, for the situation. But it gets tricky trying to explain and express being in dealings with people for a long time and having a bunch of weird energetic situations happen, you know, and you making lesser of the situation. You make lesser and lesser and lesser of the situation until you're forced to respond to it. So if things would have been addressed or let go a long time ago, it would have been easier, or it might have been a lot smoother. But since it keeps crossing your path, so when things keep crossing my spiritual realm, it's like, before I started working out again, that shit used to always cross my spiritual realm. It didn't matter what time of day it was. I could have maybe went a day or two without it crossing, but it always made its way. So it continued to make its way through my spiritual path for attention until I addressed it. And it wasn't addressing like, okay, yeah, I need to start working out. Nah, I addressed it as in, I actually started working out. Once I started working out, that shit didn't even cross my mind no more. Because now it's like, I feel better. It's like, oh, you already knocked it out for the day. Oh, you already knocked it out for the day. You know, even if it's not the most excruciating workout, you know what I'm saying? You can do 5-10 sets, you know, you don't have to do 20 sets, 30 sets, 5 hours, you know what I'm saying? But it was drawing my attention for me to do something. and I'm gonna do something, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like to have stuff sitting on my spirit. So once something sits on my spirit longer than a couple days or a week, or say like I chilled and I woke up and it's still on me, and I want to do something physically or drive up or do something physically, not like do this physically, but I'm just saying like engage physically. Sometimes I have to fucking sit back and smoke. I take my medicine, do my little thing, and then see if my energy changes. If that doesn't help shift it or move it while I'm meditating as well, because I'll try it without my medicine, and I'll try it with my medicine. Once I try it with my medicine and it is still sitting, I have to do something. I have to do something, because usually when I take my medicine, it's like, all right, I can reapproach it from different angles, but certain situations, it's like, no, some things you have to be more direct with it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be a being that's sending, not the healthiest energy, or I don't want to call it unhealthy energy. I don't want to be sending extremely powerful energy that can cause harm to beings around me that don't deserve it. When that crosses and that happens, I want to send that to the motherfucker that's supposed to get it, or who's ever around that circle, who's ever in that space, physically or spiritually. That energy has to go. It has to go. It's gonna keep crossing until you let it go or address it. So you have to process the situation to actually see which one it is for you. Because some of my situations I just had to let go. Everyone wasn't an addressed situation. Just this one right now that I feel like that kept processing. It was like, you have to address it. It's just certain values and principles that is really hard to play with. And it's like, for me, it's like, if I'm not going to pull up on you physically, I want you to know. I want you to know that it's fuck you. I want you to know. I want to share it with the world. The same way I share my love with the world is the same way I want to share this fuck you with the world. Like, I just like sharing. And I get charged and I get taxed for it. I do. So I also have to be mindful myself as well, too. But I'm not a being who's going to be like, yeah, I'm only going to share my great vibes with the world. You won't get to experience when I'm down here or not at my best frequency. Nah, I want you to feel all of this, because I am a real being out here. You know what I'm saying? Ain't none of these beings out here controlling and dictating me and what I say and what I do. You know what I'm saying? And when you get to that space spiritually, you realize you are a lot freer than most of the beings around you. A whole lot freer. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't want to run it up too long. You know what I'm saying? Justice is always served. Always. Whether it's on a hot dish, cold dish, sunny day, rainy day, snowy day, it doesn't matter the weather. It's going to get served. So, tapping everything down below. Peace and love to the kings and queens.